Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Woolley, and I'm the CEO of the Nashville LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and it's great to be coming to you today to present a very important topic in our first Classroom Connect of 2021. This is the first one we've done on our new platform, StreamYard, where we're coming to you live on several different social media accounts. This is being recorded, and we'll be sharing this program to all of our members if they're not able to join us live. If you are joining us live, we are so happy to have you. This is an interactive program. You'll see in the comment section of this video, you can put in any questions and we will see them and we'll ask the presenters while we're going through those questions and make sure they get addressed. We'll also have a Q&A portion at the end of this where you can ask your questions. We'll be clarifying certain things throughout the program, so just ask away. We want to see the comments come in. We'd love to have them. I'm so glad that we have so many viewers watching already. This is wonderful. We really do enjoy this new program. This program is part of the Rainbow Connection series that we've been doing, all virtual since the start of COVID, and we'll continue to bring several different programs to you in a number of different ways. Our programming includes networking events, educational opportunities, and several other connections. We did a member profile just a couple weeks ago, and it was great. So follow all of our social media so you can see what we're doing. And coming up, we have a Network Connect. Our AM Brewing Up Business is February 4th at 9 a.m. And there's a PM Brewing Up Business February 18th at 5:30. We'd love to join you. Classroom Connect is sponsored by our platinum level member, HCA Healthcare, TriStar Health. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks to all of the support of our members. Your membership makes this possible, and this chamber is nothing without our members. I'd also like to say thanks to the support of Metro Nashville. This is the third year that we have received a grant from the city to do this work, specifically what we're going to talk about on this Classroom Connect, which is certifying LGBT-owned business enterprises. And we work closely with the city to expand all minority spend opportunities, all diversity spend opportunities, and to do contracting with the city. And you're going to hear much more about that. We have some great speakers in line for you today. We've got friends of ours joining from the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And we have the Business Assistance Office here in Metro. And then we've got some LGBT certified businesses that will be joining us. Let's see, so let's get started. A little bit about the Nashville LGBT Chamber. Next slide. So the Chamber exists to advocate, educate, and connect for our members and our community. You can see our mission statement up on the screen. We work every day to make sure that Nashville is an inclusive place to live and work and do business. We do that through our advocacy at the state level, our education to our members all across the state, and the connection that we offer to opportunities and networking events. We have over 500 individual and business members. Those range from corporate members down to small business members, LGBT-owned businesses, and so many ally businesses that want to make sure that their customers and clients know that they are inclusive and welcome everybody. One of the next things I want to highlight in regards to this program is our 28 certified LGBT business enterprises that you're going to hear more about that certification, and we'd love for you to become one of them. And hopefully you'll qualify and we can get you certified. We have 20 businesses in the process of certification right now. So how did we get here? How did we get to talking about certified LGBT businesses? Well, it's something that we started years ago talking with Metro about. Actually, we spoke with 3 different mayors before it became a reality. We started with Mayor Dean, and then Mayor Berry, and Mayor Briley brought it to fruition. And we talked to them about the importance of recognizing LGBT certified businesses in Metro procurement. And we made history on February 11th, 2019. Mayor Briley signed a historic executive order for LGBT-owned businesses. And it put them as a recognized category in city procurement. And that was a big deal. We became the first city in the South and the 13th city slash organization in the country to recognize that. We beat cities out like New York, Chicago, LA on doing this. And we're very proud of it. And we're proud of Nashville and Mayor Briley for doing that, and Mayor Cooper, our current mayor, for continuing to recognize that and his support for the LGBT community and the chamber. Next slide. So we got recognition from Metro, but where we really saw an increase in getting people certified, getting potential LGBT business enterprises certified, was with the NFL draft. And the NFL draft coming to Nashville really opened a door and put a spotlight on minority-owned businesses. And we were invited with all the other minority-owned business organizations to speak with the NFL about their Business Connect program, which is their diversity and inclusion program. And when the NFL comes to a city to do an event, they want 30% of everything they spend to be with a minority-owned business, and they want to keep it local. So that benefited our members greatly as they recognize LGBT in their minority business spend. We did work with the Tennessee Latin America Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber, and the Hispanic Chamber to certify as many of our businesses as possible, and then register them with Business Connect. So that put you in a directory. So the NFL, when they came and they said, I need a caterer, or I need someone to do security, or I need someone to build a stage, they went to this Business Connect list first, and then they would go other places because they wanted to, again, spend money with minority-owned businesses. The NFL coming gave us this story to then educate our members on why they should get certified. Certification's been going on for a long time. I think when the NFL will, I don't think, we've written it on the screen, 9 LGBT business enterprises in 2018 when the NFL came to town, but the NFL coming and then Metro recognizing LGBTBEs, that was the springboard to where we are now with 28. That is tremendous growth, and that's something we're very proud of, and we're going to continue to grow. And the NFL, again, was the thing that gave us the example of certifying a business. We had businesses that would say, well, I don't make a tire, so I shouldn't get certified because I can't sell a part to Nissan. Or I don't build sidewalks, so I don't think that I can do business with the city. And what we did with this program was expand that and say, whatever you do, there is opportunity for you to connect to diversity spend with Metro and with corporations. And the NFL was that spark that lit that match, and now here we are. The exciting thing is coming up, we are bidding for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And they have a program similar to Business Connect that we will be, hopefully, we receive one of the games and we'll be gearing up for that program and making sure that our LGBT business enterprises are on that list. Next slide. Here's the incredible members, the LGBT business enterprise members that we have certified, and it's growing. If you are LGBT, and you own your own business, 51% of your business, you're going to hear more about the qualifications to certify in just a moment. We would love to add your logo to this list. We work every day with all of our members, but specifically these members on connecting them to opportunity, diversity spend opportunities. Thank you to all the members on this list for getting certified. Next slide. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Maxine Turner. She is with the NGLCC, the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. We are an affiliate of the NGLCC and have a wonderful relationship with them. They help us out in a number of different ways. We advocate together. They're the national presence. We advocate here at the state in partnership. And they're a great resource for us to turn to on procurement and policies, and so appreciate them. Maxine, I'm going to bring you into the discussion. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the introduction to the NGLCC. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to talk about certification.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you. So you're going to talk about certification, and I think the big point that we make here locally when we start talking about certification is members join our chamber and then we work to get them certified, but we do not do the certification. The certification is a national certification ran and delivered by the NGLCC with the highest standards and accountability, which you're going to talk about. But that's the big thing that I want to just point out is that Nashville LGBT Chamber does not certify. You are getting a national certification and you're a member of our chamber and we assist you. And then we might do a few other things in the process as well that I know you're going to talk about. But I'm going to turn it over to you and let you tell everybody about that. And thanks again so much for being here today.
Of course, thank you. So the NGLCC was founded in 2002 by our co-founders Justin Nelson and Chance Mitchell. We are the business advocate and direct link between LGBT business owners, corporations, as well as our government partners, and the Supplier Diversity Initiative and the Supplier Diversity Team, which is where I work. And the LGBTBE certification was later created in 2004, which we will be discussing. Next slide, please. So NGLCC LGBTBE certification. So the NGLCC is the exclusive third-party national certification body for LGBT-owned businesses. We modeled our certification process after the National Minority Supplier Development Council, NMSDC, as well as the National Women's Business Enterprise National Council, also known as WeBank. And again, this is available to businesses that are for-profit and that have at least 51% owned and operated by someone who is LGBT. Next slide, please. So it's important, I think, to start off with the definition of supplier diversity, which is the intentional inclusion of socially and or economically disadvantaged groups in procurement opportunities. So while that seems like a pretty, I guess, bland definition, I think it's important here to kind of talk about how supplier diversity, it really is a competitive advantage, not just for our own LGBTBEs, but also for our corporate partners, which is why they partner with us. Greater diversity among suppliers creates greater competition, which results in greater savings and innovation across any company. And we like to talk about lucrative consumer loyalty when we talk about these things. LGBT people are more likely to purchase goods and services from brands that are known to have a record of LGBT inclusion. Next slide, please. So what does my team do and what is the Supplier Diversity Initiative? We help business owners through the certification process. We are your first point of contact at the NGLCC and remain really your primary point of contact. So here you'll see that we connect with the Engagement Center to identify and distribute important opportunities to LGBTBEs. Our Engagement Center is really where these RFPs and such come in, that we later help the Engagement Center to find our suppliers that we believe will be appropriate and will be able to fulfill whatever opportunity it may be. And we also work with our LGBTBEs after they're certified to leverage their certification based on their business goals. SDI also conducts monthly webinars for business development and we have other educational tools. We have a mentorship program, matchmaking, etc. And so there are a lot of opportunities once you've been certified to continue engagement. It's not just about getting a certificate. Next slide, please. So who is eligible for LGBTBE certification? Again, the business must be at least 51% owned and operated by someone who is LGBT. We'll get a little bit more into the details on how we determine that later on in the slides. You have to be a US citizen or show proof of permanent residency. Again, the business cannot be a nonprofit, unfortunately. It has to be a for-profit entity operating in the United States, and it has to exercise independence from any non-LGBT business enterprise. Next slide, please. So the first question we usually receive is, how do you prove, or how do I prove that I'm LGBT? So we have an extensive list of what we called our status qualifiers. These were items that were determined by our Procurement Council, which is comprised of corporate partners and other suppliers, to be what is, I guess, acceptable to prove your LGBT status. If you're interested in seeing the exact list, please feel free. We'll have our email at the end. If you would like to email us, we can send you this list. We're always looking to expand it to be more inclusive. It comprises of certain legal documents like a marriage certificate or 3 attestations from anyone that you know that can sign an affidavit and attest to your LGBT status. It could be a it could be a gender marker change on your driver's license. There's a lot of different things. I think one thing that's also really important to note is if you have been a member of your affiliate chamber for over a year, then the director of that affiliate chamber can write a letter on your behalf, and that will satisfy this requirement as well. So again, if you'd like to see a list of these status qualifiers, we can definitely provide that to you at the end of the webinar, but we have a lot of different options. Next slide, please. So in terms of completing the certification process, we'll go through a brief list of the steps. And the first is to complete a business profile on my.nglcc.org. And that is the portal that you will be using throughout your time of being a member with the NGLCC. It's your portal to certify, but then will also be your access to our corporate partners as well as all of our certified LGBTBEs once you have been certified. And it's important to note that, again, if you are a member of your local affiliate chamber, then the certification fee with the NGLCC is waived. This is not the only reason you should be a member of your local affiliate chamber. We like to say that certification is national, but membership is local. So what this means is that a lot of networking opportunities really only happen, not only happen, but a lot of them really happen at the local level. And we always encourage our business owners to maintain good standing with their affiliate chambers. We'll talk about this also in terms of recertification later as well. Next slide, please. So this is what the portal looks like when you go to sign up. You would go type in your email, confirm your email, and then it'll take you to where you will be submitting your supporting documents. Again, this gives you access to, once you've been certified, over our 1,500 certified LGBTBEs and over 260 corporate partners, both always ever growing. Next slide, please. And you'll be taken to fill out your business profile. So this is the first step in the certification process. This is where you're going to input your contact information on your business structure, whether your scope is national, local, regional, whatever it may be. You'll be asked to fill out your NAICS codes, things of that nature. If you are having any questions at all, filling out any of the information requested, that is what my team is here for. We are here to help you through this process. So if you don't know what your codes are or you don't know how to answer a certain question, please reach out to us and we will help you. This is also extremely important to fill out as complete as possible, because later, once you are certified, this is what other businesses will be able to see about you. This is really going to serve as your capability statement. So when it comes to being identified for opportunities later, once you've been certified, the more as filled out as possible, the best, because the more filled out it is, then the more likely you will be to be chosen for an opportunity, since you'll have, let's say, more keywords or more codes listed than if you just kind of went in and filled it out just to complete it for certification. But this is something that you'll always be able to go back and update and edit, but is used as kind of just the summary of the business when we are going through the applications. Next slide, please. So after your business profile is filled out, you'll be taken to upload your supporting documents. Next slide. And this is what that's going to look like. So depending on your business structure, you will be asked to submit certain documents. Now, obviously, if you are a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, you're going to be asked to submit less documents than a corporation. If you are having trouble submitting any of these documents, or if you think a certain document does not pertain to you, again, please reach out to us. Oftentimes, we will have a sole owner of a corporation who maybe doesn't have meeting minutes or an actual stock ledger. We have the answer for you and we can help you through that. But as you can see here, you will go upload your file, and once that, I don't know if you can see it very well, there's a little purple exclamation point in the top right hand of each box. Once that turns green, you'll be able to proceed to the next. And once all of those are green, only then can you proceed to the last part of the application process. So just make sure to keep that in mind when going through, that you're going to need to submit for it to be able to take you to the next section. Next slide, please. And we can also get more into those documents that I was referring to. Again, we're going to ask, for your business profile, your proof of U.S. residency or permanent resident status, a resume, a brief history of the business, and your LGBT status qualifier. We ask that of all of our business owners. And then again, depending on your legal structure or your business structure, we'll ask for your articles of organization or incorporation, your tax documents, as well as your proof of affiliate chamber membership to waive our certification fee, and then as a corporation, bylaws, meeting minutes, stock ledger. Sounds overwhelming, but I promise you it's not. And so the last step then will be to host a site visit. Next slide, please. And a lot of people want to know why we need site visits. We are not trying to interrogate you. We are really just trying to learn more about your business. We modeled our site visit procedure after WeBank's, again, the Women Business Enterprise National Council, our sister organization. And primarily it was used to uncover ineligible applicants. So there's always that fun story of where husbands would put their wives as the primary business owner, and then when they would go to conduct the site visits, sometimes she didn't know how the business functioned and how it operated. So this was a really great way to make sure that the business owner applying really is who they say they are. So it's used to verify information in an application. It's used to ensure the integrity of certification, provide one-on-one contact with new members, and uncover inaccuracies or mistakes in the applications. This number 3, provide one-on-one contact with new members, is also very important because this is the first time maybe that you'll receive that FaceTime with anyone from the NGLCC community, and whether the site visit is conducted by your local affiliate chamber leader or through another corporate representative or one of our certified suppliers, it really is a great way to network as well. And we always encourage then certified businesses to also become site visitors later, just to expand their client base and to further network and help grow the NGLCC's mission. And next slide, please. So just a brief overview again, the 4 steps are to complete your business profile on my.nglcc.org, to upload your supporting documents, to then host a site visit. And then that is when all those steps are done, either myself or someone from the team will present your application to the National Certification Committee. We have a certification committee that meets once a month. And so typically we tell people the process can take anywhere from 30 to 90 days, but this really depends on how quickly and efficiently the documents are really sent over to us. I would say my team is pretty quick with it. So if you submit everything and we reach out to you and let you know the status and you're quick at responding and getting us those documents we need, then this process usually goes by very quickly. Our certification committee members review the applications, and then they are the ones to finally nominate certification. After that happens, your SDI associate will reach out to you with your certificate. Next slide, please. That looks something like this, that has a certificate number, unique to you. And I see that we have a very important question. What if your business is home-based and protocols around COVID? Great question. If you have a home office, which it sounds funny talking about that now since I feel like everyone has a home office, we do not request a tour of your home. We will just still do the interview and just not do the tour portion. And in terms of COVID and the protocols, we're actually conducting site visits virtually now. So thank you for asking that. So either it's going to be over Zoom or whatever platform works for you and that site visitor. That's completely up to you to decide. Some people who are still working in the office, in terms of just like the little tour portion, we have people, walk around with their laptops, or it's really going to be up to you and the site visitor on how you determine the best course of action for that. But again, this is what your certificate is going to look like, and it'll come with dates for orientation, which is where my team and I go over how you can best utilize your certification. And also, one more time, it's important to remember to maintain good standing with your affiliate chamber, not only to get that fee waived, but without good standing, your certification may not be valid if you, let's say, join your local chamber just to get that fee waived. We want you to be good, active standing members.
We want that too, yeah. So we love that partnership. And it is a savings to join the local chamber because our lowest small business membership is less than paying for the certification on its own. I love what you said. Certification is national, membership is local.
Exactly.
So, Lauren, we can go to that next slide.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So just for contact information on how to contact the supplier diversity team, you can email us at supplierdiversity@nglcc.org. The director of supplier diversity has also left her contact information here, Alicia Green, agreen@nglcc.org. For the time being, Alicia is actually the one who reviews most of the Nashville applications that come in, but this is always subject to change, so just keep your eyes out, but either one of those emails will work and we will respond back very promptly.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Maxine. We usually do this portion of this presentation in the past because we haven't done one in the COVID world yet. So it was so great having you. It was so much better than what I usually do because I am not the expert on NGLCC or this process. So we're going to have to make these virtual going forward no matter what, because you guys explained it so well. Thanks so much for that. Couple points. We have a question that came in, and it's a great one. How long is the certification good for? So you get your certificate, you're certified. How long does that last?
So certification is valid for 2 years, and then you'd be up for renewal. You'll probably get an email from someone on the team. There's 3 steps to renewing. It's very, very simple. Not like the first go around, but you're just updating your business profile, you're uploading your most recent tax document, and then again, proving that you are in good standing with the affiliate chamber so we can then waive our recertification fee. The site visit portion does not happen every time you're up for recertification. It happens every 4 years.
That site visit going virtual was another game changer for us because we used to, it used to just be me, and then we got Lauren, and now what's so great is you guys have been training other LGBTBEs that we've certified to also then go do the site visits. How does somebody get registered to do or get certified to do the site visit?
Yes, so if anyone is interested in becoming a site visitor for the NGLCC, again, please email us at supplierdiversity@nglcc.org, and we have a really short training webinar. You'll sign an NDA, and we'll go through really, the process of it, but it's really open to everyone, and we encourage everyone to join because it really is a great way to network and to meet other people, and the training really takes about 15 minutes, and then you're good for being a site visitor. We will reach out. You'll get an email from my team, or maybe it'll be from the affiliate chamber who will then distribute the site visits. Depends on how we decide to work it out, but you would get an email. It would give you, the business owner's contact information and the forms that we use for the site visit requests. This is really an important step in the certification process. So we are always looking for help, and we really appreciate it. And I'm assuming, Joe, you'll probably enjoy the help as well, of course. But it really is super helpful to us, and we definitely encourage everyone to become site visitors.
Yes, we appreciate it too. The more help, the better, and it really has helped us out. We used to be doing all of them, and before we went virtual, we were covering the whole state of Tennessee. I've been to Memphis and Johnson City, which are on the extreme ends of the state, to certify LGBTBEs, and then I've also gone up into Kentucky because we're the chamber kind of central to this location to do those site visits. But what's great now is they can be done virtually, and we have a whole incredible network of site visit certifiers, and we're happy for that. One of the things I wanted to touch on was we often get asked from the applicants, where am I in the process? And we have to tell them, again, it is a national certification, so they're inside the NGLCC system. If they are wondering where they are in the process, and we don't see where they are or what they have submitted, if they do have questions, they should contact NGLCC Correct and ask, okay, what am I missing? What's outstanding? And you all will be able to give them a better time frame than what we would be able to do.
Exactly. So that's a really good question. Again, you would contact the SDI team, and just as a heads up, we cannot see anything that is in the portal until the application has been submitted. So that's actually a very good point. So unless you've submitted the application, we will not be able to see really what you have not uploaded yet. And that's why, again, it's really important to remember to have those green check marks on all of the boxes, because that'll show that the document has correctly uploaded and that you can move forward. And then obviously you'll click submit, and we will then be able to pull up the application, review it. My team and I, we respond very quickly. We'll let you know, we've gotten your application. We will review it within the next week, and we will reach back out and let you know the status. And then we will let you know, hi, Joe, thank you for submitting your application. You're missing this, this, and this, or these items are pending, or you're good to go. We're going to move forward with the site visit. So again, that's where it kind of is going to be some back and forth between the business owner and my team. If you have questions with whatever documents you need to submit, please do not hesitate to reach out. If you want to discuss with us before you start the process, kind of how to go about it, do not hesitate to reach out.
Question came in, can a business that is 50% owned by an LGBT individual qualify?
Unfortunately, no. So it has to be 51% at least owned and operated by someone who is LGBT.
Very good point, and that's something that we do have to make. What about 50-50 if it's a split company?
Both LGBT individuals, then 100%. Obviously, then you're either a corporation or a multi-member LLC. Even if the business is owned by 2 LGBT individuals, we'll still need an operating agreement. But obviously, we're not going to have to go into the nitty-gritty if there is a non-LGBT person in the business that maybe has more control over something. It'll be pretty simple and straightforward, but 100%. It doesn't matter how it's broken up. If there's there's 2 LGBT individuals, 1 non-LGBT, but the 2 both combined together have over 51%, then we're good to go. It's just majority owned and operated by someone or someones who are LGBT. Great.
The list of documents look like a lot, or it sounds like a lot. I know several, you're going to hear from some BEs coming up, and they're going to talk to you about it. Most of them can get it done in 3 hours if you're organized. It's just really a collection of everything you should have as a small business owner, and then just submitting those. You made a good point of, it sounds daunting, but it's really not.
Exactly.
On the qualifiers, I mean, I do think that is really the first question of how do I prove that? You mentioned a few, and there is a whole list, and it's an extensive list. One of the other ways that I've done several times is one of the options is to have a certified letter by the head of your local chamber, which would be me, to write a letter saying that you are involved in the community and that I attest that you are part of the LGBT community. So definitely lots of options out there to get it done. Alicia is mostly the contact, but Maxine, your information will be sending out too, and people can reach out to either one of you for further questions or to get started. Lauren Bland, our membership manager, is also the point person for our LGBTBEs to talk to you about, once you have your certification, making the most of it. Maxine, thank you so much. I'd love for you to stick around in case we have other questions come in. I know we've got one from one of the viewers about, is certification relevant? And I'd like to put a pin in that. Des, we're going to get to that question, but I want to talk about Metro certification next. And then I think Maxine will bring you back and have that kind of making the most of that certification once you are certified.
Sure. Yeah.
We do have one more question. We operate 2 DBAs under our parent company. Do we certify the parent company only?
So typically we've been seeing this a lot. I would say email supplier diversity, and once we look at some of your documents, we'll be able to give you a more concrete answer. But typically, yes, you would certify the parent company, and then later on, let's say if you have a DBA and you want to be certified under your DBA, then just you could send us your DBA and we can change the name on the certificate for you. But yes, you could certify, or you would just certify the parent company. If you have multiple offices, as long as it's the same ownership and it's the same business, essentially, you do not need to certify each and every office you own. You're just certifying the parent business.
We have another question that says, does it only have to be owned and operated, or owned, operated, and managed?
That's a good question. So owned and operated is what we're going to stick to, just because in terms of management, we understand that, especially as companies grow, sometimes that LGBT owner will take a step back and have, a team or team leads or other people that are in charge of management. So we completely understand that. In terms of the site visit, when they go over, who does what, that'll be clearly explained there. So it's really just owned and operated. Can the LGBT owner make the business decisions on their own? For example, if it's a corporation, can they hold a quorum? How does voting work, et cetera? It's owned and operated.
Okay. And another question that I know would be asked if he was able to ask it, I think he's watching, but we have a franchise owner of a national group, and he owns the franchise for this whole entire region. Can he certify? He has his own corporation for that franchise. Can he, for his business, and owns the franchise, can he certify?
Yes. We actually had a really great webinar yesterday on franchising. And so definitely email me. I'll send you the link. But for franchises, we have a kind of separate criteria that we look over. We want to make sure that you still operate to some degree of independence and things of that nature. So just email us and we can definitely look through your documents and let you know the specifics. But there's a really great webinar we just did yesterday on that. And I would definitely check it out on the NGLCC website when you get the chance.
Great. Thank you so much, Maxine. We'll bring you back in just a moment. And we really appreciate you being a part of this. We'll talk to you soon. All right. It is my pleasure to bring in, whoops, wrong button. We're live streaming here, folks. To bring in Jerval Watson. She's a good friend of mine. We work closely together with here in Metro. She works for the Metro Business Assistance Office, and we work together in a number of ways. I love our collaboration and excellence. It's our program that we work with the other minority chambers to just help grow minority business and business in general here in Nashville. Jerval, you are doing it all. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us today.
Well, as always, thank you for having us. You know that we thoroughly enjoy our relationship with the LGBT Chamber and, of course, me with you, Joe. It's a great platform for us to have the opportunity to come and talk to the members to help them understand the validity in the certification and how it benefits them by being registered with NGLCC and then utilizing that certification along with their other business credentials to do business with Metro.
So we're going to talk about, you're going to share with them once they have their certification, and really even before they have the actual certification process, and you can go out to any type of member that might not even have the LGBT certification. You're going to talk about registering and certifying with Metro. And this database, I cannot stress enough, as she talks about it, how important it is to register your business in that database, because it is where corporations and organizations go to find business in general, but specifically to find minority-owned businesses. So Jerval, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I look forward to your presentation. Thanks again.
Thank you. Hello to all that are on the call today. One thing that I'm going to say to you first and foremost is that I've noticed that there have been some questions from some individuals that I do not know, unfortunately. So I'm going to facilitate this part of the presentation as if I don't know any of you. So please forgive me if I'm seeming redundant in some areas, but some of it is necessary to make sure that you understand the necessity of certain parts. So one thing Joe pointed out, which is most important, is the first thing that I'm going to hop right into, is being registered with Metro. For those of you that don't know me, I've been working in this field for quite a while. And I actually had the great opportunity for working for a certification organization before coming to Metro. And one of them was an NMSDC affiliate. So I have a good deal of knowledge with certification. So it helps me to help you understand the benefits of it. But the most important component when you're doing business with Metro is to register. I noticed in one of the questions someone asked, was it important for you to register or become certified if you're training and you do training? If you do any business of any capacity, you want to be registered with Metro. You want to be registered in our system, and it's not the same process as becoming certified. It's not a tedious process. It's very simplified. It's basically your business information, your basic business information, your company name, where you're located, how we can communicate with you, how you want to be paid, your commodity codes, what type of products and services you provide, things of that nature. Very simplified, but necessary. Even if you're not interested in doing business with Metro, you still want to be registered with us. I will tell you a little later why that can benefit you. But currently, I know we have, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 14 LGBT certified registered businesses that are certified with NGLCC, but we have more LGBT members that are registered with us that are not certified. So my point to you is get registered. Don't care. But don't care if you're wanting to do business with us, if you're certified, if you're in business, you want to be registered. And the basic reason for that is there are other organizations, corporations that come to us and utilize our list. As Joe has said, we work together with other business resource organizations and corporations and businesses to provide them basically viable businesses to do business with. So when there are people looking for subcontractors or people to partner on possible opportunities, they utilize our list. And so part of that is why you definitely want to be registered. The second part of that is that you want to submit your certification documents. And that would be any types of certifications that you may have, whether it be your LGBT certification, your woman-owned business certification, your minority-owned certification. We, Metro, actually have our own small business certification process. We have a micro mini program. The reason why we do that is because our micro mini program allows businesses to be confirmed as a small business at much smaller amounts than some of the other organizations that certify small businesses, such as Small Business Administration. The Governor's Office of Diversity Business Enterprise also provides a small business. We don't accept those, but we do certify them. And I don't really want to use the word certification because we approve them. We don't really provide you with the certification. We give you approval status. And you do that by providing us with 2 years of your tax returns, your 2 most recently submitted quarters of 941s, and a letter of affirmation. That's simple. But you cannot be approved if you're not registered. So that goes back to me reiterating the necessity for you to be registered as a small business. And last but not least, you want to definitely bid on contracts. And you want to look to see what opportunities are out there that could benefit your business or that you're interested in, that you could possibly be interested in doing business or bidding or subcontracting. There's a wealth of opportunities when you do business with Metro, and you want to make sure that we want to build your business capacity. So we want you to take advantage of those opportunities. Next slide, please. And I get ahead of myself. You all have to excuse me. A lot of times this stuff is in my head, and so I just go ahead and run through it. But all of your information when you're registering must match your firm's most recently submitted W-9. So make sure that when you're registering with us, and I probably should go ahead and tell you, like if you're not registered with us, it's simple and easy. You want to go to nashville.gov. In the top right-hand corner, just type in procurement. When you type in procurement, there's a link on the left-hand side that will say how to do business with Metro. Click on that. It will give you all the things that you need to do business with us, inclusive of registered and I supply them, inclusive of how to become certified or how to be approved as a small business, the certifications that we accept, because we don't certify for minority, woman-owned, LGBT status. But what we do is we accept certifications from other entities, such as NGLCC certification. We have vetted them and approved of their certification process, and so we accept it. You want to make sure that you provide us with your LGBT certificate so that we can apply it to your account. Since we do not certify businesses, what we do is once you provide us with your certification or your letter that confirms that you're certified by those entities that we accept, we then apply it to your account, and then you go within our database that had a specific database that we utilize for our minority, woman-owned, small, service-disabled veteran businesses. And I think that someone asked, and I'm going to jump into that if memory serves me. Someone asked, what is the benefit of certification? One, we, Metro, currently have programs that are set aside for minority and woman-owned businesses. We are able to do that. And I think if you could go to the next slide for me, we're able to do that based on the fact that we, every 3 to 5 years, we do a disparity studies. And within that disparity studies, they determine how businesses in certain categories and they are not getting the business that they deserve, or there's disparities that are applied against them. We're not able to do that if we don't have you registered in our system and we don't have you confirmed as falling within those categories. So currently, we do not have programs set aside for LGBT business owners, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in the future. What we need to be able to do is measure those business owners that we have within our system. And if you're not in our system, we're unable to register, we're unable to measure that. Again, here it is we have a triangle disparity study. And again, as I said, these things are in my head, but we need to measure the utilization to create those programs, as I just expressed to you. Now, the benefit is with you being LGBT certified, most of you can be certified in one of the other categories, whether it be woman-owned, minority-owned. So you are able to benefit from those programs if you fall within those categories. But if not, we want to make sure that you still have that opportunity. So for white male business owners that fall under LGBT certification, we want to be able to provide programs for you all in the future. But again, we have to be able to measure that. So definitely understand the requirement and need for you to be certified and registered with Metro, but certified with NGLCC to be able to, for us to be able to provide you any type of programs in the future. Joey, did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to join in. Do you have anything? I thought we were going to have a small discussion, but if you have anything else that you want to make sure that they know about.
Yes. Yeah, no, I saw you pop in, so I thought maybe you were trying to interject somewhere. Basically, you can have as many certifications applied to your business that are available and that are germane to your business. So if you are LGBT certified, please do not think that you cannot be woman-owned certified, minority-owned certified, or small business approved. It's very important, a very important fact, because you have the opportunity to benefit from all programs and certifications that you fall within. So what I always tell individuals, and I'm throwing on a previous hat, is that certify with as many certification entities that you can afford to do, because some of them cost, some of them do not, that you can afford to do, have time to do, and that benefit your company. So if it's someone that because every database is different in some capacity. Some of them overlap and some of them do not. But what you want to understand is that you want to benefit from the entire database of each certifying entity. So if I were a business owner and I had the opportunity as a woman, I would certify as a minority woman as a minority. I would certify as a woman-owned business. And if I were fell within the LGBT status, I would register as a certified LGBT chamber member. So I would do all of those things. And then I would get small business on top of that. Now, again, I do not want to be confusing in any capacity and have you thinking that is an easy process. But what I will say to you is be sure that whenever you do your initial certification, that you develop a file. Keep that file together, because it is important, because there are certain components that every certifying entity will ask you for. Some will be a little more and some will be a little less, but you have the bulk of that information already together, and it will make your process a lot more simplified. The second part of that is a lot of us utilize the same programs. So for us, we utilize B2G Now. The Airport Authority utilizes B2G Now, which is a federal certification. The Governor's Office of Diversity Business Enterprise utilizes that same program. And I feel comfortable making these comments because, and Joe can speak to that, is that as business resource organization, we work together and we try to make sure that business owners understand the necessity to utilize us all. So it's not as though we want you just to be registered with Metro. That doesn't benefit us in any kind of way. We want you to be registered with Metro, but we don't want you to stop with us. Our whole objective is to build you all in your business capacity. And the only way for us to do that is to continue to push you in a manner that will allow you to benefit from all the programs that are available. And I think that I want to, the only other thing that I would say is for some of you all, if you are familiar, after our disparity studies, we developed a small business reserve program. And that program is for Metro contracts that are $250,000 and under that we're going to do set-asides for small business firms. Previously, you had to fill out an application to be a part of that small business reserve program. We have eliminated that. We have determined that that was a barrier that was not allowing some small businesses to apply. So at this point, and I feel a need to point this out because a lot of people are still have not been made abreast of that just because it's been a change. If you are confirmed with Metro as a small business, you're automatically put in the Small Business Reserve Program. So it automatically makes you available to bid on those contracts that fall under that $250,000 max. So that's a direct opportunity where you as a business owner do not have to compete with a large business that may be able, and purely hypothetical, but may be able to outbid you in terms of pricing, in terms of capabilities, in terms of past examples of their work. So it's just putting you in the category with your peers and allow you a better opportunity to become a prime. So just so that you understand the whole purpose of that is that we're trying to move small businesses that a lot of times find subcontracting, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're trying to build your capacity to allow you to become a prime on projects.
Yeah, excellent point. And then just to make that clear, and we should do an educational program just on small business because we're not talking about LGBT certified business now. We're talking about small business certification or registration with Metro. Well, both certification and registration with Metro, which is apart and separate from minority certification, LGBT certification. Correct, that small business category is separate from the other ones.
It is, but it is important to note that you being certified as an LGBT member does not preclude you from being a part of that. So we want to make sure that when we talk to you about being certified as an LGBT member and doing business with us, we want you to layer your certification to maximize your benefit.
And to our our majority small business members, our ally businesses, I hope they are hearing this, and we will continue to educate on that. You fit into this small business. Register with Metro. I love what you said at the beginning. Register with Metro. I am going to remove that and bring back in Maxine just to have a brief discussion on registering. So you talked about Metro. You talked about the Airport Authority, the different databases that there are out there. There is certification, and then there is using that certification and then registering with as many databases and portals out there that you can, because they go hand in hand. They're not, you don't get your certification and then you're put into all of them.
No.
Maxine, who does NGLCC, when you're registered in that network, your affiliates can highlight you, but who else can see you on the certification list?
Yeah, so great question. Once you become certified, you have access to, again, our number of certified LGBT business enterprises as well as their corporations. So as a certified supplier, you can then go onto our portal and you'll have the search feature then accessible to you, where you can run a search of all of our other certified suppliers and their and corporations that you want to do work with by keyword industry, or you can click, more options for a more advanced search. And that's a really good point, because then the first thing that you're going to want to do when you become certified is register in vendor registration portals. We always get these jokes that like, oh, I became certified, I thought the trucks would come flying in. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. There's still a lot of work to do afterwards, but now you have that kind of like golden ticket, because you'll have that certificate when you're registering in the vendor registration portal. You still have to go and do that work. And another really good point that was brought up in terms of having multiple certifications, if you are WeBank certified, for example, because they're our sister organization, our certification process is actually a lot more simple. We'll require your LGBT status qualifier and we'll require your WeBank certificate. And there's a WeBank, I think it's section 6, that shows your ownership percentage. A lot more simple. No site visit, none of those other documents. WeBank has already done that for us. So
the opposite way too. So if you had your LGBT certification to get your women-owned business certification.
I do not think WeBank honors it that same way, but I would double check with them.
I work with them directly. I work with the regional office here. And what I do know is that we all kind of operate the same. Once they notice that you have that other component, it's not reciprocity, but they know that you've gone through those processes, and we basically all respect each other once we know the process that each of us take. Because what I love about the fact is, and I didn't know, I learned something today, is that LGBT NGLCC mimics after NMSDC and WeBank, and they all have that 51% requirement, site visit requirements, and all of those different things. So it reduces the requirement. So like on our system, B2G Now, when I pull up a company, I can see whatever other certified entity is utilizing B2G Now. I can see what certifications you have without you providing it to me. The other piece of that is that because we all do work together, most times we check with the other organization to see if you have gone through the process, if everything is legit, so that you don't have to go through that, the labor intensive component.
Oh, awesome information. One thing I want to make sure that we cover one more time with the two of you, and it's something that, again, the NFL draft really made us able to explain better, is you had someone in the question, Des Stevens, says, is certification relevant for service-based industries like training plus education? That is an awesome question. I'd love for both of you to touch on who should get certified. Everybody. You hit up Jerval when you said everybody. Everybody should get certified if you can, and everybody should register with Metro if you can, because the opportunities, you don't know what the opportunity is going to be with the work that's being looked for.
I'm sorry.
No,
because I wanted to point out on the databases, Metro has a public-facing database. Sorry, Maxine, I have to one-up you one. I know that other certifying entities, that you have to be a member for most of them, unless they're government agencies. I think the federal agencies also have public-facing databases. But for the certifying entities, if you're not a member, then a lot of times you do not have access to those databases until you become a member. But with Metro, our database, we have a public-facing database for our minority, woman, LGBT, all of those fall on our public-facing database. Now, please note that even though ours is public-facing, and even though we do cross-reference a lot of the same corps and suppliers, each entity has suppliers, corps that are not on the other list. So you have access to each and every database. If you want to do business with the federal government, you gotta get registered with MNA or TDOT or one of those entities. If you want to do business with corporations, you've got to get registered with NGLCC, WeBank, or NMSDC. Those are, you have to have the knowledge. And I'm going to do Metro a shameless plug, but it's not really Metro. It's really all the business research, all the certifying entities. We typically do certification trainings and bring in, and Maxine, I hope you all will participate in the future, because Joe and them have been doing it up until now, but we bring all of our certifying entities in to talk to suppliers and talk them through the need to certify with their organizations. And in those certifications, you get the opportunity to hear why you should layer your certifications. And then the other component is, I'm sorry, the second part to that is, yes, you got to register, but you want to register with, I guess I kind of merge those statements together. You want to register with everybody. Because if you're not registered, because even when you want to do business with a corporation, even if you are registered with NGLCC or the airport authorities or WeBank or NMSDC regional office, you still have to go and register in that corporation's vendor pool, because they know who you are, but they want to know some deep down specifics about who you are as a business. So there's a lot of registration that takes place. Some are more labor intensive than others. Some require more than others, but you want to make sure that you get that registration done on all levels, because your registration lets, and what we say is, we want to know who you are. We want to build business. We want to do business with you. But in order for us to do business with you, we have to know who you are.
Exactly right. Awesome conversation. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We've talked about a lot about getting certified as an LGBT business enterprise and then getting registered with Metro. We did have a comment. I loved it, came in and it said, registering with Metro was so easy. It's one of the things that we have to have our LGBT certifieds do, because it's also, that's the direct way that Metro can track that return on investment for the grant that they give us to certify LGBT business enterprises. So we have had LGBTBEs certify. They go through the process of certifying with national NGLCC, and then it's like, you got one more step to do. We've got to have you do it here locally. And I will tell you, Metro's database is the place to go to find businesses. So again, to all small businesses, no matter what you are, go and register with Metro. That is very important. But yeah, we've got to have that follow through. And thanks again for both of you. This is so important piece of our work. I love that you guys really hit on it, that, you know, we have the certifier and the national organization. We have the local Metro. You guys talk together with as certifying bodies and layering your certifications. The Nashville LGBT Chamber is here to connect. We really do connect our members to the opportunities at national and then here locally with Metro. And it's a great thing we're doing, and we really appreciate your guys' partnership.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you all so much, because I am going to turn, we're running over time, but we are still going to talk to certified business enterprises. We've got two great ones joining us today. Robert, let me bring you into the stream, and Joel, how are you guys? Good to see you.
Good.
Thanks for being with us. We're running a little bit behind schedule, but we had so much great information and so many questions. Robert Anstead is with Southport Solutions. Robert got certified this last year and has really done some incredible things with his certification, getting involved with several different organizations and programs. And then Joel Upton with STF Catering was one of our early certified businesses and has done so much. And I love to highlight Joelle because she is the trifecta. She is what I say can really be done with certifications, and we talk about layering certifications. Joelle is a minority-owned business, Joelle is a women-owned business, and Joelle is a LGBT certified business. So it's the holy trinity. The Black lesbian business owner is the one that I go to say that multiple certifications really count. It's so great to have you all here. I know you're busy working. Joelle, you just came from a catering gig, which is wonderful to hear. We know that hospitality and catering industry has been hit hard during these times, and you guys are working so hard. Robert, I know you're busy with a lot of things. I'd love to go to each of you and have you talk about the certification process of, like, was it difficult? What was it like? How long did it take? And then what you've been able to do since the certification, any tips or tricks? Joelle, we'll go to you first and let you share.
I will dispute that it was easy to get certified. I disagree with that. Just because we've been in business for probably about 13, 14 years when we got certified. So there was a lot of back history we had to go and dig through. It was really great to have our accountant help us with that, to be able to pull out a lot of the financial information and plug that in. It's not difficult in terms of you don't have the information, it's just finding it and plugging it in. So it took me it was longer than 3 hours, I'll say that. But the great thing about the NGLCC is that you can stop and pause and come back to it. So you don't lose your place. If there's something you don't have, you can go and find it. And somebody made a good point to have a file folder with it, because I'll tell you, with 2020 happening and having to apply for so many grants and different SBA programs and loans, I had all that stuff together because of my certification process. So a lot of our documents and charts and financials were already in one place, easy access. So that was super helpful, honestly.
You are not the only one that I've heard that from. I've actually heard from several that said with PPP or the EIDL loan, that going to that certification folder they had created or the documents they had uploaded and then they could pull from was really helpful. So great point. If you are a small business member, it is important for you to have these documents together, because you don't know if it's certification or what could come up that you need these very important things for your business.
Absolutely.
So it took a little longer than you expected, but you did get certified. You have other certifications. How has that been going forward once you've had the certifications?
It has been helpful. We plug it in everywhere. I've able to do the women-owned and the small business owned in some different capacities, but there are a lot of layers, and just kind of identifying it. That's why these chats are great, because sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't know about that one, or didn't know I could do that one. So we're always constantly kind of looking through and seeing where else we can register or apply. And it goes on pretty much anything we fill out going forward. We say that we are LGBT certified, women-owned, minority-owned, and I know as a consumer, I look for that. So we put that out there in the world too, that people want to know if you're minority owned, or, you know, how they can trust you in the world. So it's been helpful in that way. We're still trying to, obviously with catering, hospitality, it's been super weird this last year. So kind of things have been on pause for us particularly. But it's been a great time to kind of update all that information, make sure we are registered anywhere we can, because when things do finally launch again, hopefully we'll be in position and ready to take off.
Yeah, I know when in June, around the conversation about systemic racism and social injustice, there was a big desire to spend with Black-owned local businesses to make that impact. And you were one that we highlighted as a member of us. The LGBT Chamber represents the marginalized of the marginalized. So the LGBT community is marginalized, but we have a double marginalization for our LGBT brothers and sisters of a different race, of another marginalized group. And it was great to be able to say, here are LGBT Black-owned businesses for that. And just thank you for all that you're doing. You've got EVO is going on as well too. I want to just plug your business as well, so everybody knows. You've got the sauces and marinade business. How's that?
That's actually been great. It's been picking up the slack a little bit for the catering. We've jumped into e-commerce, and then we're one of those DBAs. So that was a great question to figure out. Okay, we've got our parent company as STF. Now we need to figure out how to get EVO and make sure it's getting the same opportunities, because most of us have multiple hats where we're got our hands in a couple different things. So promoting the ones that, you know, can do well during a pandemic versus the ones that maybe need to take a back seat That's certainly something I'm going to really research once we jump off here and figure out how to make that happen for EVO as well.
Yeah. And you've talked about using your certification. I know you do lots of catering, or you did when we were doing catering events at Vanderbilt. But I know also a lot of our other corporate members, it has been an education process for us to go to all businesses, but specifically catering, hospitality businesses, and say, Metro might be looking, you've got your national certification. Here are all these other corporations that are looking for minority spend, diversity spend. I know Nissan has Food Truck Friday, so a food truck vendor could go out. Do you have a lot of corporations that are also marking you off on diversity spend for any one of your categories? And have you been able to see where that has gotten you specific business or helped you get that business?
We have a lot through the corporate and through the LGBT chamber. It kind of ebbs and flows, you know, being the trifecta. You'll see, like, when racial injustice pops off, then people are looking for Black owned. When you've got something like marriage equality, we had a lot of people searching for, you know, LGBT owned. So you kind of have your ear to the ground and you know what people are looking for. That's why it does benefit if you have multiple layers and can say, you know, we are this and this, and we're happy to help. But yeah, we can track a lot of companies. Vanderbilt is a big one that has a push to be inclusive and diverse, and they'll let us know when they're hiring us, and we're happy to fit the bill.
Great. Well, Joelle, I went to you first because I also know that you've got more work to do, so I'm gonna let you jump off. Thank you for staying late. I know we ran a little late, but thanks so much for joining us, and as always, thanks for being a member.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you so much.
We'll talk to you soon. So Robert, same question to you. Certification process, was it easy? Was it hard? Any tips there? And then tell us a little about Southport and the work and stuff that you've done after your certification.
Yeah, so the certification process, for me at least, was relatively easy. My company is a single member LLC, so and I'm somebody who is crazy organized and have the documents scanned in everywhere. So I was able to pull up all the documents very easily. But if somebody doesn't have those documents, that may be a challenge, or they can't find them easily, that may be a challenge. What I found to be the most challenging piece was actually the getting somebody to attest as to the status. And so, because I joined the chamber in August of 2019 and started my process of certification in September of 2019. So
yeah, it was one of the things that brought you to the chamber, correct?
Yes.
Was possibly getting that certification.
Yeah, so yeah, there was several reasons, but that was definitely one of them. And then, so it took me a couple of months simply because the B list of items on that list, I was like, I wasn't sure exactly what I should do. So, but NGLC, I reached out to NGLCC. They were great at getting back to me with, it ended up being, I had to get three of my friends who I had known for X period of time to sign letters, and they provided some sample letters for that. And so after that was done, that was the last hurdle I had. And then it was relatively simple from there to have the on-site visit. And then I was certified in November. If I had a little more initiative in the fall and I wasn't so busy with clients, I probably would have been done, about a month earlier. But I was thrilled to get it completed. And this past year has been amazing. The NGLCC has some great programs, not just being able to grow your business with contracts and whatnot, but it also has some great educational opportunities. So I took advantage of one of them called Accelerate, and it was a great program. They had some key people that were in there. Was the former CEO of, I believe it was Aetna Healthcare, and he led some leadership sessions, and it was a great program to be a part of, and I learned a lot. I'm a engineer by trade, and I have been learning how to run a business for the last 3 years. So having that type of expertise was really helpful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad you took advantage of that opportunity. And you're hitting on something really important. You came to the Nashville LGBT Chamber, had a discussion. We discussed certification. You started your certification process, and we were able to help you out on those qualifiers too.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I brought up earlier with NGLCC was you were one of the ones that came to us. And it really is, when you start that certification process, you're kind of in the hands of NGLCC. Then you come back to our hands, so to speak. So it was, I mean, we are always learning, and we learned with you, but it was a good process. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it and we were able to get you certified. But then taking advantage of the partnership, you've got your local chamber membership, but you are also a certified LGBT Business Enterprise with the NGLCC, and there's plenty of resources and educational opportunities there to take advantage of. It really is a partnership of the two organizations, and we're both working to support our LGBT-owned businesses. So I'm glad you've taken a part of that, and I am so thankful for you being a part of the chamber and a member. It's great to see you at pretty much everything we do. So
it's my pleasure. I enjoy my time with the chamber, and the networking opportunities have been great. And actually, I've been able to find some new clients out of that, which has been wonderful. So
that's what it's all about. I'm glad to hear that. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll talk to you soon. Well, that wraps up today. We went a little bit long, but man, that was some great conversation and information. I hope that you enjoyed it too. Thanks for joining us today. I'd like to make sure that we thank first our sponsor, HCA TriStar Health. We cannot do this without them. They are the presenters of this Classroom Connect. We have another Classroom Connect coming up the 4th Thursday in February. If it is a Thursday, the Chamber is doing a program. We have a program every single Thursday. So we've got Network Connect, Member Connect, another Network Connect, and then Classroom Connect. Lots of connection. We're here working for you, and we hope this helped. It is information on one of the most important pieces of advocacy and education that we do, that is certifying LGBT-owned businesses, pushing for LGBT equality in the workforce and in spending and in business. We're here for you. Thanks also to the NGLCC for your partnership and collaboration in the work that we do together. And thanks to Metro for the support, for Metro Nashville, for the support and for everything that you offer the LGBT community, but the community in general, for small business support. This is an incredible city to live and work in, to be a small business in. There's lots of resources out there. If you're not a member, we'd love to have you. If you're not a member of your other minority chambers or the area chamber or any of the other organizations that we've talked about today, I would suggest you join. There's lots of resources out there, and we're all here to help. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you have a good day. Contact us if you have any questions. Info at Nashville LGBT Chamber goes to Lauren Bland and myself, and we'll get those questions answered. I'm going to surprise Lauren and add her to the stream. Lauren, the membership manager, she's here to help you all things membership. Lauren, I just had to bring you in and have everybody say hi. So.
Yep. I'm definitely here to help with certification, with membership, anything you've got, just reach out to us.
All right. Well, with that, everybody, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you at our next program. Bye.